Good morning, year 3 student. How are you? Today we'll continue with Excel and we'll learn about the cell and the range. So, are you ready? Let's start. What means a cell? The working area in Excel is made up of column and row. Okay? The rows are represented by the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and until the end. Okay, so the rows are represented by the number. The column are represented by the letter A, B, C, D. Okay, so the column is vertical and the rows are horizontal. The cell is the place where a row and a column meet. The cell is the intersection between one column and one row. Okay, so the cell is the place where a row and a column meet. What we said, rows are represented by the number, column by the letter, and the cell is the meet between one column and one row. A cell address in Excel identify the location of the cell in the working area. For example, E4 refers to the cell at the intersection of the column E and row 4, and G6 refers to the cell at the intersection of column G and row 6. This one, E4, we said E4, the intersection between the column E and the row 4, and G6, the intersection between G and row 6. Now the active cell. In Excel, data is entered in the active cell. B1 here is the active cell in the example. So the active cell is where the data is entered. How entering data in active cell? Put the cursor in the required cell, then click on it. Notice that a black border surrounds the cell where data will be entered. An active cell is a cell where data is entered, and a cell becomes active by clicking on it. A cell becomes active by clicking on it. It normally one cell and one the worksheet, and the title appear on the cell bar. The range is the space between 2 points. The range in Excel is made up of a group of cells that are beside each other. There are different types of ranges in Excel. We have horizontal range, vertical range, horizontal and vertical range. The horizontal range includes a set of adjacent cells in the same row. For example, the range D6 to H6 refers to the cells D6, E6, F6, G6, and H6. So it's a horizontal range. Look at here. We didn't change we are in the same row, but the column changed. It's the list of adjacent column. Okay, in the same row. The vertical range is a list of adjacent cells in the same column and in different rows. Okay, same column but different rows. For example, the range C3 to C10 refers to the cells C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8, C9, C10. So it's the same column but the different rows, adjacent rows. Okay. For the horizontal and vertical range, it's a set of adjacent cells that have been highlighted horizontally and vertically. For example, the range B1 to E3 refer to the cell. Look at here. So it's not the same column, not the same row. It's a list of adjacent cells. Okay, highlighted horizontally and vertically. Okay. Now I will show you what mean a cell, what mean a column, what mean a row. Okay, we said the column it's represented by the letter. Okay, so here, for example, the column B, column C, column I, G, and the rows are represented by the number 1, 2, here for example 14, 12, okay, and the cell, a cell is intersection between one column and one row, okay. For example, here I will take the column D and the row 4. Just I need to show you, okay. This cell is the intersection between the column D and the row 4. What is the address of the cell? It's D4. We start from the letter of the column and then the number of the row. And the address is shown in the cell bar here, okay? D4. This one, so the address of the cell. Now, the active cell, it's represented by when I enter my data, okay. So here the active cell is B1. If I will click here, the active cell is E5, and the address show in cell bar, okay. Now what about the range? What about the range? We have horizontal range, vertical range, and horizontal and vertical range. The horizontal range, it's a set of adjacent column, okay, a set of adjacent column. For example, here C1, C2 to H2. It's a range, horizontal range, okay. I don't change the row, only we change the column C to H and the same row 2, okay. It's a horizontal range. Now for vertical range, just we will be in the same column, just we'll change the row, okay. For example, D2 to D9, it's a vertical range. I don't change the letter of column, just the number of the row change, okay. That's vertical range. And for vertical and horizontal range, it's a set of adjacent cell like this, okay. For example, we start from C1 to F5. First cell is C1 here to F. Good morning, year 4 student. Today we'll continue with Microsoft Excel and you will learn new things. So be attentive and listen to me.